Hi, this is Erin Harrison coming to you from the Los Angeles Convention Center at IT Expo West 2010, our 22nd IT Expo. I'm joined this morning by Kelly Murphy, CEO of Gridstore.
Morning.
Welcome, Kelly. Thanks for joining me. So Gridstore is relatively new to the industry.
Yep.
Talk to us a little bit about what you guys do.
So our product is a new storage platform, which we refer to as a network-attached storage grid. And what we do is we use a very unique grid processing architecture, which dramatically reduces the cost of storage by a factor of 10, and at the same time increases the capabilities of the storage platform to levels beyond what you would even find in enterprise-class storage.
Okay, great. And who would you say is your target market?
We are initially selling to small and medium-sized business. Most of our early customers have been kind of larger, medium-sized enterprises in the kind of 900 to maybe 3,000 employees scale. But we see a big opportunity in the smaller end of the small, medium-sized business sector, who are traditionally using kind of file-based storage, standalone devices, where as they fill them up, they have to continuously add more. And the problem that it creates is known as kind of storage sprawl or storage silos, where each one is a single point of failure, each one has to be separately managed, and so on and so on. And what our product does is takes the idea of small NAS devices but uses them as building blocks so that you can have a unlimited scaling of capacity by just continuously adding more of these storage blocks. And also, as you add more storage blocks, you're adding more network bandwidth and so on. So the whole processing platform becomes more powerful as you add more of these blocks.
Okay, and taking that a step further, what would you say are the biggest challenges or biggest storage challenges for SMBs?
The first is the reliability. They tend to use lower cost products that are single points of failure, and when they fail, and quite often they do, it's major business disruption for them,
Right.
in the worst case. And even if it's just downtime, it's cost and time and a lot of headache. And what our platform does is it breaks the storage platform into many small pieces so that it's designed to handle failures very gracefully. So typical systems can handle 1 or 2 disk failures. Ours can handle 3 or 4 or 5 node failures, which means that it's virtually unbreakable.
Okay.
And if it does break, each one of these nodes costs about $425 for a terabyte of storage. And you simply attach another one and it takes over where the last one broke off and rebuilds the data and continues to process. And meanwhile, nobody's even known that the storage system had a failure.
Okay.
Where normally the case would be everything stops.
Sure. Who would you say is your closest competitor, and how do you differentiate Gridstore from that?
Yeah. So the companies that do have, the class of storage that's well beyond that would be the enterprise class storage, which tends to start around $25,000. As I said, our platform, each node costs $425, so it's a drastically different price point.
Right.
Yet the capabilities can only be found in these very expensive systems in order to continuously scale out the storage platform to have that level of reliability. So in the market that we're going after, there's very little competition. That would be direct competition. The alternatives are the traditional file servers, which cost $5,000 or $6,000. They're a bit more robust, but they're still a single point of failure. They still will have limited capacity and limited performance and so on. Whereas ours, you can just keep adding these blocks of storage and processing to keep scaling the system at very low incremental costs.
Okay, great. And we're just a few hours away from the exhibit hall floor opening.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to accomplish while you're here at IT Expo?
The big thing for us is to work closely with managed service providers. They are organizations who are managing remotely anywhere from 50 to a couple hundred of these small, mid-sized businesses. And managing storage in those small businesses, especially when it gets fragmented like this, is a big challenge for them. It's a lot of disruption on the customer side with one of these fails. It's cost for the managed service provider to have to go out and replace and take down servers and replace disks and stuff like that. Whereas with our system, what they can do is literally just send out a storage node. You can attach it to the network and a power cable, and it comes on the network and starts processing. The customer would have never known there was a failure that it even occurred in the network, and everything keeps running nice and smooth. And as they need to add capacity, rather than adding another server that becomes another silo, they add a storage block, which just adds capacity and keeps their storage infrastructure growing nicely.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, Kelly, for joining me today. We've been speaking with Kelly Murphy, CEO of Gridstore. I'm Erin Harrison at IT Expo West 2010.
Okay, thank you.